Hello and welcome to this video that is to introduce you to some top tips on how to go ahead and use AutoDraw. Now AutoDraw is powered by Google and is an experimental drawing platform to use to be used with AI technology. So that is an abbreviation for artificial intelligence technology. The best way that I can describe this platform is that it is a bit like predictive text when texting using mobile phone devices. So for example, when you are writing a message and you type in a bunch of letters, but you might misspell the word that you're aiming for, the predicted text gives you options of the word that it thinks that you are trying to send. So even if it's spelt wrong, it will give you the correct spelling, or sometimes just by the first few letters of the word, it will predict the word that you're anticipating trying to send. So this is the same idea, but for drawings. So you put in your basic drawings, or you start making a drawing, and what AutoDraw does is it predicts what it is that you are trying to draw and gives you options. So let's go ahead and start typing into the Google window AutoDraw and find the website. So open up your iPad into Google, then you'll have the home screen, then you will need to type in AutoDraw and you will need to press search, so that it brings up different websites, and AutoDraw should be right at the top there. You can see the first two websites, AutoDraw, which is the one we're going to click on, and second one, AutoDraw, powered by Google Creative Lab, and it's an experimental platform using AI technology. Now I just want to pre-warn you, when I click on this website, this will open up the last drawing that I was working on. So before I click on the website, I'm going to show you the last drawings that I've been working on, so that you can see what the screen's going to look like. So I was working on developing some designs for this demonstration video so I could talk to you about them. If I click on AutoDraw now, it's going to take me through to the last design that I was working on. I don't want this design right now, so I'm going to press these three lines at the bottom and say start over, and this is the screen that you will see. Because you've not used it before, it will bring up this screen for you. So it's quite clever that it remembers what you were working on last, so you don't need to worry about losing your work. Now we've got this great big blank screen, I want to talk to you about the action buttons and the menu buttons on here so that you know how to use AutoDraw. So first of all, let's start with the three lines at the top of the screen. This menu bar will enable you to either start over, download, share, or tell you a bit about the application itself. The main ones that we'll use on here will be the download and the start over button. So we don't need to use it for now because we haven't got anything to download or start over from. Down at the other side of the screen, I want to show you the colour palette. The colour palette has 5 different screens of colours that you can select from. It always starts on this blue colour here. So I'm going to actually change that now whilst I'm in this colour palette, and I'm going to start off by using the black. I just find that by switching it to a black marker pen option at this point in time, I just find it's easier. You can then change the colours of your drawings, fill colours and everything later on, but I like to keep it just in that black marker pen colour just for drawing. But you can choose, you don't have to do things the way that I do things, but this works for me. So we've got the black marker pen. Now I want to introduce you to these 6 buttons here down at the left hand side of the screen. So 6 buttons. You are going to flick between probably all of these buttons at some point to have an experiment. I would recommend first of all that you do really play around with all of these different buttons and see what it is that they do, you know, and see how it is that you can change and create shapes and things, and how to add colour to things. Just have a go and an experiment, but I'm going to talk you through what each action is. So if I press just at the top there, let's just open up this bar and I'll talk about them as we go down. So let's start from the top. The top is the pencil with 3 stars around. This is AutoDraw, and this is the tool that I'm going to be showing you how to use and how it predicts the types of drawings that you're trying to create from your basic outlines. So there's the auto draw tool, there's the pencil underneath, which is the freehand drawing tool. Now you might want to use this freehand drawing tool if you do not want the AI technology to predict your shapes. So if you want to create a freehand drawing of something without changing it, you could think about using this tool. Type is as it sounds. If I click on that one now, it's going to give me the option to start adding text into my work, which some of you might find useful. It changes the order every time you tap on an icon, so it's changed the orders slightly. The select tool is the one right at the top there with the arrows in 4 different directions. This is to move your objects around. The fill tool, which is the bucket with the drip coming out, that is to colour your work. The shape tool I showed you briefly before, and that just gives you the different types of shapes, basic shapes. There's 3 of them, a square, rectangle and a triangle. So we're going to be using auto draw. So I'm going to click on auto draw, which is, if you can't see the writing next to it, it's the pencil with the 3 stars. And I'm going to draw a basic scenery. So let's go back to the ones that I've done already. We're going to draw a basic scenery. Now, you do not have to draw a scenery. You can draw anything you like. It could be just a pattern design. It could be really surreal imagery with lots of different icons in it. You could have a theme to your work, so draw with lots of different trees or flowers, or it can be anything. You decide, you are in control. But I'm going to show you how to build up a basic scenery for those of you who might be interested in doing that. Now, what I've found with auto draw is that it has got its limitations. It has got a few glitches in it. It's a free application, and I would say the reason that it has got a few glitches in is because they haven't fully developed it, and every time that there's a mistake that happens in this, I would imagine it feeds back and that they adapt and learn how to improve. So one of the things that I have found that's helpful when you're trying to create a scenery where the sky and the ground is different colours, I found that by having this big black rectangle you can see at the bottom of the screen, this really helps for you to create a separation between the land and the sky. This seems to work well, but you need to have an experiment and decide how it is for you this is going to work out. So you experiment and try out different ideas. So I'm going to draw in my horizon line to begin with, and it's so easy. I'm just going to draw a line across the screen, and then you'll see at the top now at the screen it's given me loads of different options of what it thinks I might be trying to draw. So it's given me all sorts of different options. Was I trying to create a wiggly line or waves, or what was it I was trying to do? I'm going to pick this option here, which is a rectangular shape, and I'm going to use that as my land. Now, I'm not going to position the land just yet. I'm going to go right ahead and draw the images that I want to be in my artwork straight away, because I know what I want in my artwork. However, you guys can move your objects around as you go, and I'll show you how to do that afterwards. So I'm going to draw a house. I'm going to draw a basic house, and I'm going to see if Google Images Auto Draw can predict what it is that I'm trying to draw. And now you'll see it has presented lots of different options. Was I trying to create buildings that look like this? And you can click along all of these to find the right design for you. So you can go right ahead and choose which it is that you want to use in your work. Now, I quite like the more illustrative designs. So these are more illustrative type design work. You will notice that there are these kind of designs which I think look a lot more like computer generated images with thick bold lines. It's totally up to you with design preference of which you choose to use. I prefer these ones that look a little bit more hand-drawn over these ones, but you choose, it's your design. So I'm going to just speed this video right up, and I'm going to draw in another house type shape, and I'm going to aim to get a few different buildings on here and create that street kind of look that I had on the other page. So I've got my buildings in there. Now what I want to do is I've got a moon. If I just flip back to the other screen, I've got a moon and 4 stars. So I'm going to put those in. I'm going to freehand draw my moon up at the top here, and Auto Draw has very cleverly presented a range of different options, none of which I don't want it to be a cap, I don't want it to be a shrimp, I want to be a moon. So I've got 4 different moon options. I'm going to pick the first one because it's a bit more illustrative, and then I'm going to draw in 4 stars. Stars are notoriously difficult to draw anyway, so it's very handy that Auto Draw predicts the stars. And you can see there's a few different shaped stars that you can choose from. As I said before, I'm going to keep using the more illustrative ones, the ones that look a little bit more hand-drawn. Let's just try and tap that. And let's draw in the last one right there. Perfect. Okie dokie. And last but not least, I now need to move my objects around so that they are in the right place. I should mention at this stage, if I make a mistake, there is a back button right down at the bottom near the colour bar. So if you create like I did, I tapped the screen by accident, I now can tap that back to get rid of that. There isn't an eraser tool that I've discovered on this application, which is a little bit frustrating. So if you do make a mistake and then you realise you've made a mistake a few other actions down the line, then you have to go back and undo everything to get back to that one mistake, which is a bit frustrating. So do check your work as you go along. Using the 6 buttons at the bottom, I'm now going to use the select tool. Now the beauty is with the select tool, if you can see, as soon as I highlight one of the shapes, I can then move it around and I can change the scale. So the first shape that I want to move around is going to be this rectangle just at the bottom here. And that's going to be my ground. I'm going to bring the buildings down onto the ground as well. So I'm going to position those, and I'm going to change the scale of these as well. So I'm going to make some of them a bit bigger and move them around a little bit. My stars are huge at the moment for my design intention, so I'm going to just change the size of those. I'm not bothered about them all being exactly the same size. I quite like it that they're all sort of slightly different, but I just do want to shrink those down a little bit. And then last but not least, I'm going to pop in my moon, but my moon is quite big at the moment, so I'm going to try to just shrink that building, I think, so that it's not overshadowed, and I've got room for my moon in there, and spread out my buildings a little bit. Perfect. Okay, so I'm happy with, just about happy with the arrangement of my objects there. So now let's talk about how we're going to add colour. So as I said before, we've got the select tool on at the moment, which is enabling me to be able to move my shapes around the screen. But the other beauty of the select tool is that whilst I have highlighted a particular object, I can actually go ahead and change the outline colour of that object as well whilst it's highlighted. So I want you then to tap, if you decide that you are going to use a ground, tap on your ground at the bottom, which is the rectangle, and decide what colour that's going to be. I'm going to go with a dark grey. And then once you've done that, you can then flick to the fill tool, which is what we're going to be using next. So the fill tool is the bucket with the drip coming out. I'm already on the grey colour. I'm just going to tap in the centre and I've filled my ground and I'm done there. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to use the dark blue for the sky, the nighttime sky. So I have changed the colour to this nice dark blue. I'm still on my fill tool and I'm going to tap the background, okay? And you will notice this happens. Don't worry about this. The background will completely change, but we can start adding colours into the individual objects. So I'm going to choose yellow for the moon. Oops, press the back button because I tapped the background by accident. I'm going to add colours into the stars, and now I'm going to go ahead and add colours into my buildings. Now I'm going to use unconventional colours for my buildings, and I'm just now quite quickly, you can flick between the different colours in your palette. I'm still on the fill tool, that hasn't changed. So I can quite quickly flick between all the different colours. Just be warned that if you do accidentally press the colour of the outline of your building that it will also change colour. I don't know if you will notice that. I'll do it again so you can see it. If I press the black outline with the red, it will actually change colour. So that's another way to change the outline of your colour as well, using the select tool or by pressing it, you decide. And last but not least, I'm going to have a go at just colouring in this building here. I'm going to use some purple, I think, and pop in some different colour windows. Okay, so that's my design. I've done quite quickly to show you. The next stage of this is that I want to get this uploaded to Seesaw. So I need to show you how to save it and upload it to Seesaw. So what you will need to do is press the 3 lines at the side here, and then we're going to look over to where the battery sign is. So we're going to be looking at where the battery sign is over in the top right hand corner of your screen. But first, press the 3 lines. This opens up your menu and you will see the download button. Press the download button. It will ask you if you want to download the auto-drawn image, which you definitely do. So press download. As you press download, take a look at the top right-hand corner of your screen where the battery sign is, and you will notice a new icon comes up. It is a circle with an arrow facing down in it. Press that and it will ask you, it will tell you about the downloaded image. Click onto your downloaded image to check it's there. It is there. And to ensure that you definitely have this saved, I want you to save it to your camera roll. So to do that, you press the button that has got the arrow facing upwards with a square. So press the arrow and it will open up a menu which will give you some options like, do you want to share it? Do you want to save it to camera roll? Do you want to print it? Along with some other things. So open that up, go straight to saving the image, which is the square with the arrow facing downwards. You want to save the image and that will automatically save it to your camera roll. Sometimes it asks for permission. Is it okay that I save this image to your camera roll? At which point you just say yes, and then you save that image. Then you can press done, and that's it. You are ready then to, if you want to, press the start over button and start again and have a go at something else. This is great for if you wanted to, say, create even a poster or a flyer or an advertisement, or a colouring sheet. I think would be really good is if you printed this out in black and white. Like this one would work quite nicely for that, and then you colour it in using traditional materials like paints, pens or colour pencils. So be creative, experiment with this. Try making a poster, try making something with text on it, try making a colouring sheet, and also try your hand at having a go at colouring in your own design. Make as many as you like, but just remember to download it and to save it to your camera roll. Once you've done those things, you can then upload those to Seesaw, tag the visual arts folder, and I will see your work and it will go into your personal portfolio of work. I hope you enjoy this activity. I can't wait to see what you come up with, and good luck.